time to see what we will say.
Hello and welcome to the UMASS Spectrum. I'm your host, Brian Glander. The topic of today's show is mountain biking in the Pioneer Valley. Our purpose is to express an interest in the exercise value of the sport and how to properly maintain mountain biking equipment. We'll also be showing you some footage of mountain bikers in action around the Valley area. I'd like to welcome to the show right now our mountain bikers, Jim Sabia and Ken Avery, and they're mountain bike instructors for the Physical Education Department. Welcome to the show, guys.
Excellent. Thanks, Brian.
Now, before we get into some of the health aspects of riding, I just want to get an idea from you guys, a little bit about your background, like why you guys got involved in mountain biking of all sports, basically.
I don't know, I've always been kind of into the action outdoor by yourself sports, and I found mountain biking through a friend of mine and been racing for 7 years, worked on a shop for 5. I'm a member of the UMASS cycling team here, and I primarily do downhill and dual slalom events, but it's a fun, rewarding exercise.
Jim?
Yeah, I too have been involved in cycling for a while, and mountain biking has really got my interest a little bit more than anything else. So I've been mountain biking for about 6 years or so. I also work in a bike shop, and I do participate as a member of the UMass bicycling team. So.
And now, like, what do you guys feel are some of the health benefits of mountain bike riding? Would you say it's more cardiovascular, more strength enhancing, or both?
Mountain biking is kind of a mix of the two. You definitely get a cardio workout based on just the amount of time that you're on your bike and the mileage that you do. But negotiating objects in the trail, sometimes you get a little bit of a strength workout as well, just by throwing the bike around and climbing up hills and stuff.
Yeah, I feel it's definitely a mixture of both of them. I'm more in it for the cardiovascular part because I do like to do a little bit more of cross-country racing, right. Which does require strength, but a little bit more cardio.
And endurance.
And endurance, yes.
Now, what would you guys say, if any, would you say would be some of the negative aspects of riding? Like, there have been a lot of controversy in the media lately about how mountain biking, especially prolonged exposure to riding, has caused impotency in men. Some people actually complain of numbness in their hands, in piercing in their nerves in the back. I mean, how would you guys basically react to those allegations?
Well, I think that because mountain biking it's a technical sport, so you're always getting up and out of your saddle, negotiating behind the bike to maneuver down trails. I don't feel that mountain biking has that much of a problem or is impacting mountain biking as a sport that much. I think that it's more of a road rider's problem because you're just in the saddle for a prolonged period of time, and those symptoms do come up for that.
As far as numbness of the hands, that's usually a novice kind of a injury. When you get more comfortable on your bike, throwing it around the trail and stuff, you get a little more relaxed, and you won't be as apt to just clutch the handlebars. And if you do that, then you're going to do a lot of nerve damage and stuff. When you get better at it, you'll just be a little more relaxed. You can have a little looser grip, but still maintain the control you need. The most common injury in mountain biking, I would say, is a broken collarbone as far as major injuries, and that too is just amount of how much you push yourself while you're doing the sport, which is such a great thing about mountain biking.
Right. Now, could you guys explain to us the different styles of riding and how they differ from each other? Because we say the word mountain biking, but there are many different classes and different styles of riding. If you guys could just embellish on a couple of those.
Yeah, if you go to like a national race, there's 3 different kinds primarily. There's a 4th new one. There's cross-country, which is you buy a mountain bike like this one, it's a cross-country bike. It's made to go out and just kind of ride around the trails and have fun. Then there's downhill and dual slalom as well, which are a lot like dual slalom and downhill ski racing.
Right.
I don't know, that's gotten a lot of exposure through like commercials and stuff like that lately.
Yeah. There's also trials mountain biking, which is getting your bike up and over obstacles without putting your foot down. So it's it's really technical. It's still in its preliminary stages, but it's getting a big following. People really like it. It's a great spectator sport.
Now, of all the styles, what's your personal favorite? Which one do you guys like?
Personally, I like cross country. I'm more into the endurance, the longer race, where it has an aspect of all 3 or 4 of those. Right. You do downhill, you go uphill, cross country. So I just like the cross country a little better.
Ken?
I primarily do downhill and dual slalom. I started doing cross country, and I like how in cross country you have to push yourself. It's a big mental game with yourself. Downhill is more of a speed, extreme, kind of a really high impact fun thing. And it's it's a different kind of training. It's a different kind of riding. But I still do all 3 downhill dual slalom across country. But I think I prefer downhill dual slalom more.
Now, how would you guys categorize the trails in the Pioneer Valley? I mean, you already just described the different styles of riding. What does the Pioneer Valley fit, basically? What kind of riding?
It caters to a wide variety. I mean, teaching a class here, initially we took them on, some easier trails, and as they got better, we took them to some harder places. But Bicycling Magazine just recently did an article about the top 10 cycling towns in the country, and Amherst is ranked 6th. There's a huge cycling following here, and I mean, you can do whatever you want to do. There's crazy technical, rooty, rocky trails, or you can just go on really hard packed, smooth, easy ones.
Yeah, the Pioneer Valley offers absolutely everything for mountain biking. So, I mean, we think it's probably some of the best places, the best place anywhere to go mountain biking.
Okay. Now, how would you guys, basically, we've discussed the different types of riding, how would you categorize those for people of different age groups? Like someone who's 18 versus someone who's 40, like who would ride what trails, basically?
I think the younger crowd, 18 to 25 or so, they like the more extreme sports. They do like the downhill, the dual slalom. I mean, those give you the speed and the thrill. It's the excitement of being on a bike going fast. I don't know. I think we feel like the older generation probably likes more smooth cruising, more like a cross-country trail, and even further going into maybe road riding where the trails aren't so bumpy and it's not that tough on them.
Now, the classes you guys teach, that's obviously people between the ages of like 18 and 24. Like what type of trails do you take them on around the Amherst area?
We've taken them through Amethyst Brook during season. Occasionally, like we'll make a special trip out to Mount Toby.
Okay.
Buffum. There's a bunch of great riding around here, and like I said before, we started them out kind of to see what they could do and kind of progressed from there. Like I said, you can be at any level and enjoy riding in the Pioneer Valley.
Right. Now, I mean, what are the big trails in the Amherst area for our viewers who may not know?
Well, some of the better ones, like Ken had mentioned earlier, Amethyst Brook, which in season is one of the better places to ride. You have Buffum Falls, which is a great place. Mount Lincoln.
About how far away from UMass would they be?
From a mile or two.
Really?
And the great thing about this area is that you can connect all the trails by maybe crossing 1 or 2 paved roads.
You could do an epic, like 5-6 hour ride.
Really?
Yeah,
No
it's
problem.
awesome.
Yeah, a couple others just mentioned, like the M&M Trail.
Yep.
And is there Juggler's
You can go up to the
Notch?
Holyoke Range or some trails in there. I mean,
Now, do you guys take your classes out on special day trips or even weekend trips for that matter?
we haven't usually taken a class out on the weekends because classes
Liability.
in session and
Right.
liability and GP definitely has come down on that before. But I mean, weekend trips usually we're out doing racing for the cycling team here and stuff like that. So it's
And how long have you guys been part of the cycling team?
since I was a freshman. It's my
Freshman?
3rd year.
Yeah, same.
Okay, thank you for your time, Jim and Ken. Right now, we're just going to cut to some footage of Jim and Ken's mountain bike class. And thanks for being here, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
There on the street, I'll meet again. I'll meet again. I'll meet again. But I seem to know the truth. And days on the feet, too deep again, too deep again. On the where I was, out where I was. Been too deep again, I said again. what you can see. Don't wait, stand above for all to see. You can take any reason they might give. You will die. You will die so someone lives. Down the way, take away this dignity. Down the way, take away. Now I will see the rage of darkness. 40 below is not my favorite time or the place. It's where I used to be. Sound the call throughout the city-state. Sound the call. Too much left, no time to wait. You can take all the reasons they might give. They want you to die so someone else can live. Down the way, take away what you believe. Down the way, take away. Now I will feel the rage of darkness. 40 below, it's not my favorite time or the place. It's where I used to be. Where I used to be.
Hey, welcome back. We're back here with Jim Savia, and we're going to go into some of the technical aspects of mountain biking. But before we do that, we got to understand how a bike should properly fit. And Jim's going to show us what we do. Jim?
Okay. Well, for starters, the most important thing that you want to look for when you're getting a bike is obviously the fit.
Right.
So the first thing you want to do is when you're properly sizing yourself on a bike, you want to make sure that the post is about 3/4 of the way up. A good way to judge this is there's a marking from the manufacturer on here, and you want it maybe about, have that buried about an inch inside here, and then you have a good post.
Right. And the whole purpose of the reason we're doing this is the matter of leg extension. Now, if the seat's at the wrong height, your legs could be cramped or they could be overextended, which can cause you fatigue when you're riding. The next thing we got to show you is the concept of clearance over the top tube. You want to just show them what you
Right.
mean?
Now this bike is fairly close to the size that I would ride. Stand over top tube clearance is when you can pick up the bike by the seat and the handlebars, and
About 3 to 5 inches. That's what you're looking for.
so this would be a proper fit for myself.
Now, if you want, let's just give them an idea what kind of reach you need in the upper buttons if you want to hop on. Now, the proper position you're looking for is to distribute a majority of your weight over the front of the bike. And the purpose of this is so you get better handling on the trail, because more of your weight is distributed over the front tire, so you get better handling in the turns. And you also want to look for a slight bend in the arms here as well. You don't want to be locked out. Okay. Now, some of the technical aspects, give you an idea. When you're riding on a trail, Jim, you want to give us an idea of some of the things that can commonly go wrong on the bike?
Okay, well, when you're riding and you're negotiating mountain bike trails, the thing that you need to do is it's all about weight distribution. When you're going uphill, you really want to be slid a little bit forward in the saddle. Many people have their hands on the bar ends, which is a good climbing position.
Basically leverage.
Right, exactly, for leverage. So next, once you're at the top of the hill, there's always a downhill. So when you're descending, proper body position is to be behind the saddle. Most of your weight is over the rear tire, and you definitely don't want to be on your bar ends because you will be too high. And you definitely want to have a good grip on your brakes.
Now, could you give us an idea of the type of gear ratios you should be in when you're going uphill?
Okay. When you're climbing, depending on how strong you are, most people are in the middle chain ring and they're somewhere in the back here. And the thing you want to be careful of is that you don't want to cross your gears. That's going to make some rubbing and some funny noises. So you want to keep a straight chain line. When you're going downhill, it's pretty important to try to keep it in the big ring so that the chain doesn't really slap on your bike and make some noise. And it'll also prevent the chain from falling off.
Now, could you give us an idea of some other things that could go wrong? Basically, when you're riding, a lot of times you can encounter derailleurs breaking, chains busting, or flat tires.
Okay. The last one that you mentioned, the flat tire, that happens more often than anything else.
Right.
And you should keep a good pressure in your tires. Depending on your weight, most people run them from 35 to 55 pounds. And that's pretty good, especially nowadays with suspension forks. And some people ride with rear suspension also. You can run the tires a little bit harder. Next thing, the derailleur, as you mentioned. These are your shifters up here. These are called rapid fire shifters.
And they also make what's also called grip shift, where you twist with your wrist as well.
Right.
It's a second type of shifter.
And those are connected to your front derailleur here and also your rear derailleur. And especially up here in the Pioneer Valley when you're mountain biking, there are a lot of things that can bang your rear derailleur like rocks and roots. So you want to be careful when you're negotiating the trail for obstacles such as that.
Now, basically, getting back to the flat tire, what could you do to prevent getting a flat tire? You mentioned the pressure, but there's also some things out on the market now called Mr. Tuffy, for example,
Right.
that help prevent and seal any blowouts in the tires.
Right. Well, two flat preventions out there now are the Mr. Tuffy tire liners, which prevent thorns from going into your tire, and from pinch flatting. Pinch flatting is a result of running your tire at too low of pressure. And also they make a slime that you can fill your tires with, which is a self-sealing product. So that works pretty well.
Okay. And just for some of the people who are new to the mountain biking sport, could you just give us a little overview and explanation of the purpose and the reason why mountain bikes are now equipped with suspension forks?
Okay. Like you said, today's more high-performance bikes come with a suspension fork. And basically what they let you do is they let you go faster with more control. They let that front tire stay on the ground so you have better braking, and it's also a more comfortable ride. You want to go out and mountain bike because you have a suspension bike and it's fun, it's comfortable, it's a more enjoyable ride.
And if you could just give us a quick overview of some of the materials that mountain bikes are now made of. This particular mountain bike is made out of steel, which tends to be one of the heavier materials. If you can give us an idea of some of the others.
You have three main materials. You have steel, you have aluminum, and you have titanium. And basically steel will let you get a mountain bike for a little lower price. It's also a little bit heavier, but the quality of steel, it gives a nice ride.
Exactly, a lot more flexible.
Right, a lot of people like the ride of steel, and they do make high-end steel, which is a little bit lighter, a snappy frame rides well. The main material that a lot of people are using now is aluminum. You're going to see those bikes, they have a little thicker tubes. It's a stiffer ride. A lot of the cross-country guys like them because for climbing, and it's a lesser expensive, lightweight material.
The only downside is that a lot of people complain it's a very fragile material where if you get a kink in the tubing, you could basically ruin your whole bike.
Right, you could break your frame. And then
the Miracle Metal Titanium.
Titanium, it's a little bit more exotic than steel and aluminum. It's more expensive. The weight is the same weight as aluminum, but the ride rivals that of steel. So many people do like to ride that frame.
Okay, Jim, thanks for coming down.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank Jim and Ken for stopping on down. And we hope you just continue to watch UMASS Spectrum, and thanks for joining us today. Take care.